Hey crew, you may recognize me as your coach, Sam Candler, with Sunny Health and Fitness. Today we are going to talk about an incredibly important topic, which is posture. So we need to work on our posture now more than ever because our lives encourage us to slouch here and to fold here, right? So we need to work on that. When we're sitting in a chair, we're here. When we're driving a car, we're here. When we're eating, we're here, right? So we're gonna work on opening up our posture all the way down the backside of our body and then use our core to support it. First up, we have our bird dog. So in our bird dog, we start on all fours, just like this. So I've got my knees right underneath my hips and my hands right underneath my shoulders. Then it's important in this position to lock everything tight. So I wanna really corkscrew my elbows as if I'm corkscrewing them forward, but my hands are planted, so they're not gonna go very far. But this means that my lats right here are engaged and ready to support me. Then from here, I'm going to simultaneously extend my right arm and my left leg away from each other. It looks like this. So hopefully I have a straight line from my right fingertips all the way down my body, through my back, and into my left foot. From here, let's add a little crunch, bringing your knee and your elbow underneath your body, and then we'll extend right back out again. Up next, we have another great exercise to help with your posture, and that's a plank. So for some of you, you might be surprised that a plank can really help with posture, but it's really about how we perform our planks. So let's get down to the good details here. We're going to lower onto our elbows, and then before we even bother to pick our knees up off of the ground, if you choose to do so, I want you to think about sticking your chest out between your arms. Then you're gonna squeeze your shoulder blades down your back and a little bit together. From here, we can engage our belly button nice and tight towards the ceiling and then lift our knees up. Here we are in a full plank. Now, if we need to modify, we're welcome to put our knees down, but that same feeling of the belly button pulling up to the ceiling, that still applies. Chest is open, head and neck are long and neutral. Then we hold. Next up for our posture is a glute bridge. So glute bridges are a great exercise to work your posterior chain, the muscles on the back side of your body. So we'll start by laying down on our backs with our knees bent. Here, I want my fingertips to just barely be able to touch the backs of my heels. So you can keep your hands down, but just so you can see everything really clear, I'm gonna take my hands behind my head. Now I'm gonna breathe in, and as I breathe out, I'm gonna push through my feet, but mostly the heel side of my feet as I raise my hips up. Then I'll lower right back down. So a couple things to notice here. As I lift up, I'm engaging these hamstrings and then my glutes, and at the top, I've got this straight line from my knee all the way down to my shoulders. Then we'll lower back down. We'll do one more, and let's make sure we engage our abs at the top so that we're not arching our back, but instead we've got this nice wall here. Next up for your posture, we have a great exercise called a Kettlebell Halo. So this is likely going to be new for a lot of our Sunny family, but don't worry, I'll walk you through. We'll start by holding the kettlebell upside down, right? So I'm right here, my kettlebell bottom is facing the ceiling, and in this position here, I've got one knee down to the ground, my other knee forward like I'm gonna propose, and then with that, I've got my glutes tucked tight and my belly on tight. So from here, I'm gonna reach the kettlebell all the way around my head to right behind my neck, and then all the way back down again. So you'll notice that when I reach here, I'm really looking for a big stretch down this right side of my body, and then I'm back. Then lastly, pay attention to your abs. Make sure that we're not arching your back or leaning back. So a good rep looks just like this. Make sure to do these in both directions, heading towards the left first, and then to the right, or whichever you prefer. The final exercise we're going to work on to strengthen your posture is a staggered stance row. So here, a weight will do you some good. I'm gonna use a kettlebell, but a dumbbell will work just fine. I'm gonna stand with my right foot back just a little bit, and I'm up on my right toes. I'm solidly supported on my left leg, and then I'm gonna hinge my hips back by karate chopping my body right in half at those hip flexors. That means that now I'm in this nice straight posture with a straight line from the top of my head down my spine to my tailbone. And my other arm can support me right here on my left leg. From here, I'm gonna exhale and I'm gonna row my arm back and then forward. So here, I've got my shoulder blades sliding across my body and I'm back. One thing to look out for here is make sure that the shoulder doesn't rotate forward, but instead keep pulling everything back. The first of our stretches to help work on posture is something called a cat and cow. We're gonna go back to our quadruped position, which is with our all fours position, knees right underneath our hips, hands right underneath our shoulders. We're gonna pull our shoulder blades down our back and it kind of corkscrews at the arm. We talked about this a little while ago, and we'll feel these lats fire up. Then from here, you're gonna breathe in and look up, arching your back as best you can. Hold for a moment. And then when we breathe out, we're gonna round our spine and look right towards your belly button. One more time, breathing in here. I think this is the cow part. And then we exhale. And here we're like a cat on Halloween. And then we can return right back to neutral. Our next stretch to help our posture is a downward dog. This is a great one to open up the backside of our bodies, especially our hamstrings and calf muscles, which often get quite tight and tired during our days. So in a downward dog, you're going to put your hands right underneath your shoulders and you're going to start in a high plank position. We're not holding this for long though. We're going to push our bodies back so our hips go straight up to the ceiling. You'll notice here that now my head drops between my hands and my heels start to reach to the floor. If your heels don't get all the way down to the floor, no sweat. It just means you've got something to work on. We'll breathe in as comfortably as we can and breathe right back out. Next up for stretches to help support your posture, we have what we call an upward dog. There's a couple of variations here, but to get started, I want you to lay on your belly. Your hands will be right underneath your shoulders, and then you're welcome to have your feet tucked, or they can stretch out if that feels best for you. Then from here, you're going to push yourself up until we have this nice back extension. We can look up, pull our shoulder blades down our back. Now, if that feels like too much, you're welcome to take a modified version where you're just going to reach up as much as you can, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and look straight ahead. Up next, we have a Tspine rotation. So our T-spine is our thoracic spine. It's the vertebrae that are connected to the ribs on the back side of our body. So we're gonna lay on our side. Get good and comfortable here. I'm gonna put my head down on the ground. You're welcome to also put your head on your arm. But what we'll do, if our head is on the ground, we're just gonna open up our top arm all the way over to the other side. I'm gonna be looking at you, but you try to follow your arm with your eyes. So from here, I'm going to try to keep both of my knees to the left and get my right shoulder to the ground. Then we'll close it back up. If you choose to take a variation where you use your arm as a pillow, it looks still very similar. We've got our right arm out and we're just gonna open all the way up and around. Finally, another great stretch to work on our posture is a chest stretch. So our chest muscles get really tight and pull us forward. It makes sense that we wanna roll them back and open them up. So if it's available to you, I want you to clasp your hands behind your back and then roll your shoulders back as you pull your fist away from your body. Now don't worry, I know for some people that's not quite accessible yet. So in that case, we'll take your arms out to a side and we're gonna really lift your chest and squeeze your shoulder blades back as we open up. Another great option is to walk into a doorway, doing this exact same thing. Spread your arms wide, allow yourself to reach forward, and you will get a lovely stretch right here through your chest and pecs. I hope that you find that these stretches and strengthening exercises for your posture help you as much as they've helped me. I can't wait to see you next time, Sunny family.